Yeah, I'm just getting ready to load some 8mm. But I happen to think I had a question on the Swiss. Well, a couple of questions. And I've had these in other comments, but this was 303 Canadian was wondering about if I have a load with 4064, and I don't. I haven't tried it only because I've been using 4895 and I've been real happy with that. So I've stuck with that. Though, when you look at the burn rate chart, they're not that far apart. If I can find it again now. Okay, 4895 is right there. 4064 is right there. So not that far apart. It's just a little bit faster burning powder, the 4895. So the 4064 is slower, but sometimes slower is a great advantage. But like I say, I haven't tried it only because this 4895 has worked so well. But sometime I'll have to experiment with that. But another question he had, and this has come up before, was on overall length. And I had mentioned in a video I did before that I had a heck of a time with these, getting the right length, because they have a really, that chamber on these, the rifling starts right away. So if that bullet is out too far at all, you can't get it to chamber, or if you get it to chamber, if you don't fire it to go to eject it, yeah, the likelihood is you'll pull that bullet off, because it puts that bullet right up there. So it's kind of hard to deal with them. I finally ended up, on my sizing die, I ended up knocking 10 thousandths off of this, because I was running into not only the bullet hooking, but it was hitting on the shoulder. And now the best way to do that, to figure out where the problem is with this Prussian blue, this machinist blue. You put some of that on the cartridge and on the bullet, and it'll show you right where the impact is, right where the problem lies. And when I did that, I was able to see right where it was hitting on the rifling. Now the problem, he was asking, I think, 150 grain bullets. I don't have 150. I have these 168 grain. I think that's what they are. Yeah, boat tail hollow points, which I really like. I normally don't like that design of bullet, or I haven't had much luck with that in other guns. With that, they're what the match bullets are a lot of times. But in this particular gun, they work really well. But to get them to seat at a depth that doesn't interfere with the rifling was a bit tricky. But I used the blue and I played around, and I finally figured out a depth that works for these, which was 2.910. Worked for these. But then I went loading a similar bullet, but it's a soft point, but it's a bow tail. But what happens is the shape of the bullet, here is different. Now these I had a load at 2.9 because they would interfere. And I also have some other 180 grains that are flat base, and just looking at them, I can see I would have to seat them much deeper, because that shoulder, or not shoulder, but the end of that taper is much higher on them. So it really depends a lot on the design of your bullet, at what depth you can set them. but it's a problem if if you have trouble chambering them. But that's where that blue really helps to get it established. But generally, you're looking at like a 2.9. But like I say, with these pointier bullets, I got by a little different. I could go a little further out with them because I don't like to set them back any further than I have to. Because like these now, they're down. See, I don't like getting past that shoulder, and these are down there, but they work very well. So it's something you have to live with. But I also found, like I say, I had to take some off the bottom of my sizing die. Not a big deal, but was the only way I could get. It was interfering right at the shoulder. But by talking, just that 10 thousandths was enough to make it work smoothly now. I just had to be able to push it back a little. But there again, you do have to watch overall length. On your case length, you have to watch that. And then you really have to watch that overall length. But the only way to really figure that out is to play around, and see if you can get without interfering, how far out you could be without interfering. But I would really take figure out which bullet you want to try to use, and then take an empty case and stick it in there, and not crimped or anything, just stick it in there. I would resize the case first, but then just seat it lightly, and then just play around and see where you can get it without interference. But they were tricky. But it works good, but it's something you really want to check on. Because it is a mess if you dump the gun full of powder. It took me a long time to get it out of the magazine and everything. And with that chamber being shaped like that, I haven't tried shooting cast bullets in them, but they're really rounded. I think that'll be a even bigger problem, but it's something I'm going to have to try sometime. But they're a bit of a quandary. But I do recommend, any decent auto parts store will carry that machinist blue, and it's well worth it. It makes it easier to figure out just where the problem lies. But sometime I'll try some 4064. But like I say, I've been happy with that other saw. That 40, or what was it? What was I saying? 4895. Works very well, shoots very reliably, and shoots to the sight, which is what I'm always after. But I'm going to load some 8mm for that other Canadian challenge. But that'll be 4064. But that I've played with a lot. But there is such a wide variety of bullets in a 308 diameter. But, it's a matter of looking at the shape of the bullet. Because like if you have a 150 grain that's this design, you might really have to set them back quite a little, because there's a big difference where that shoulder hits. But great gun, just a little tricky to reload for, but well worth doing.